The Koalition.
This is for you, Max. We found out that LawBreakers publisher, they have started to blame PUBG for the low sales. They were basically just trying to say that, you know, the game didn't do well as they hoped because it launched at the same time that PUBG was out on early access. So I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that particular topic. But Max, since you are such a huge LawBreakers fan and you are one of the 50 people currently playing the game now, I want you to give us your opinion first.
Lord, I can't even. I do not care about that game. I don't know. I think that they're just kind of looking for a reason that their game didn't do well. Because to be completely honest, I still don't really understand why LawBreakers didn't do better than it did. It had it had great marketing. It was on every big site. Everyone knew what it was. You know, it had Cliffy B behind it. It was promoted all at like E3 and PAX and everything. You know, people were freaking out about it. It was being talked about a lot. And then it came out and it had like a peak of like a couple thousand players, if not less than that. So, and it came out at $30 too. It came out like half price or $40 or something like that. It wasn't even full price. So the reason it didn't do well is still baffling to me. Like, I really don't know why it didn't do like okay, at least. But them blaming PUBG, I think those are two pretty different markets, because the PUBG market, you know, they're playing like, those people are playing like H1Z1 games or DayZ games or a lot of like survival and open world games in the first place. And PUBG and LawBreakers is more of like a game like Overwatch kind of, or Team Fortress 2, like a team-based, class-based shooter. Like that, to me, doesn't really fall into the same category as the Battle Royale genre of games. You know, Battle Royale is like, I don't know. It seems to me like they're trying to find a reason for the publisher, or maybe for stockholders, like they need to provide a reason to them for the reason the game didn't do well. I don't really know. It just seems to me like they're stretching with this one. I just don't get where they're coming from with this.
Yeah. One comment that I want to make, and then I'll go to give everyone else a chance to talk on it, is that, you know, Gary and I did get a chance to play the game at E3. And when I played the game, there's a lot of things about the game that feel dated to me, because a lot of the mechanics I've already seen in other games, you know, the floating in the air, the jumping off the walls, we've already seen that in Titanfall and Call of Duty. So when I played the game, it's like I was like, I didn't really understand what the appeal of the game was. I guess you could say some of the characters and their personalities. That's one way that you can sell the game, but I didn't really feel like there was anything special about the game that was going to make it stand out among everything else. And then, of course, it came out in August at the same time that everybody is gearing up for all the major releases, because Destiny 2 was out in September also. So I personally didn't think there's anything really special or unique about the game when I played it at E3. But, you know, Gary, what do you think about the game? Because, again, you played it on PC. I played it on PlayStation 4 at the actual booth.
Yeah, I found it very generic. And, you know, I just didn't feel like there was anything special about the game, really. Like, I didn't get that feel from it when I played it at E3. Like, you know, the first time I thought it was something special, you know, it just didn't give me any, and it just came across as really generic. You know, this whole claim that reason it didn't sell, I think that's completely wrong. Like Max said, they're two completely different genres. And like, I feel like it's just the way the game was handled that was very poor. And Nexon, the publisher, probably just don't want to own up to it. Thought of LawBreakers, I thought of, you know, Cliffy B. Like, so I just feel like the marketing and the game itself wasn't, you know, great. The game isn't anything special, and the marketing was just like, I mean, what was the marketing? I don't even remember. All I remember is Cliffy B being like the main topic of discussion whenever that game was mentioned. And Overwatch, the comparison to Overwatch. And that's not a good thing. So I just feel like they didn't do enough to, you know, try and explain what's so good about this game and why people should be buying it. And It was quite shallow to begin with as well, so there really wasn't anything for them to highlight. So yeah, I think that's the reason it didn't sell. I mean, last year was a very competitive year as well. So if you brought out a game, it had to be something decent. It had to be special to really shine and stand out from everything else. So I think that's why it failed.
Very good points. Okay, Mr. Lugo, do you have any thoughts on this news regarding Lawbreakers?
I feel like their reasoning and their statement is pretty whack. I think that's the best way you could put it out there, because it seems more like a name drop to me. Because PUBG right now is very popular. PUBG is very, very much in the spotlight in a lot of different discussions, whether it was about the Game Awards or other stuff. This feels like a name drop to me. Though I think we've even gotten a chance to check out Lawbreakers prior to this year's E3. We got to see it even at PAX East. I remember the whole huge booth that they had, and even think it was the year prior to that as well. The biggest problem with Lawbreakers that I saw, and one of the reasons why I never really got into it, is because it felt very samey to me to a lot of the other games that were coming out around the time, as far as like military shooters or military-esque looking like shooters. Meaning that, what was the real thing about Lawbreakers that stood out? And I don't mean necessarily the marketing with saying that it was Cliffy B was involved with it or anything of the sort. What really was the pull? What was the pitch of Lawbreakers? Because from what I could tell and from what I remember, there really wasn't one. There was a lot of comparisons to other games. For me personally, well, even besides that, and even then, I don't even think that's really a pull for a game like that. No, well, like yeah, no, but there is a reasoning to that though, because other games have done it where they've like attached the name of like a specific designer or a specific game creator to whatever it is that they're trying to put out there. Like we see that even now with Kenji Inafune, Koji Igarashi, Hideo Kojima, the list goes on. So that type of thing is done, and I could understand that. But really, just at its core as a game, Lawbreakers really didn't have a way to pull players in, because there was so much other stuff going on at the time which had nothing to do with the game. It just didn't have anything to really grasp everybody's attention, because I feel that the whole air combat or the air jumping and the floating and stuff, that really wasn't a pull for everybody. That really wasn't something that was going to get a lot of people excited. Unlike, Overwatch, which had a diverse cast of characters. It had a really colorful aesthetic to it. It was really cartoony. PUBG, to me, why it's so appealing to a lot of people is because of the open-endedness of it, where you could do a lot of different things throughout the course of the matches that you could fight in, or at least, you could go against other players in, as well as also the fact that it's touted as not being fully complete yet. Like, to me, that's a pull for a lot of people. It's something to grasp their attention. Lawbreakers just didn't have anything like that.
Very good points. Okay, so Dana, did you feel like breaking any laws in talking about Lawbreakers today?
Haha. No. Here's the thing. I think what we already previously said, they just needed something to blame. They needed someone to place the blame on, either for the investors or just, anyone who was slightly interested in Lawbreakers. It's a stupid comparison. It's a stupid reason to even blame another game for, your games. I'm not selling as much. This was just ridiculous, and I think they just needed something or someone to place a blame at, and it's just stupid.
Absolutely. Well, I know that they said they were writing that game off as a failure also when they wrote that statement. So I don't really know what their plan is as far as what they're going to do next. I mean, it's unfortunate for them. Some people that were still hoping it was going to come to Xbox One. I don't even know if that's still in the cards. Yeah, I also think it's a bad reasoning to talk about that game and make that comparison the way they did. But I guess it is what it is.